The 3DS has had a very long 12 years since its launch in early 2011, and it's still heavily played and loved by collectors everywhere around the world. On the other hand, we have the Nintendo Switch Lite, which I would say it's the closest contender to the 3DS family of consoles. Does this 3DS still hold up by today's standards? Well, let's find out. The 3DS is rocking two screens. The upper one was mainly used for 3D. Back in 2011, this was a huge deal. Since all the 3D movies were the rage and now you could watch 3D movies at home, now you want to play 3D games. However, not a lot of people are actually using that 3D. In other words, the 3D never gets used. That's why the 2DS XL and the 2DS actually came out for that matter, so that you don't have to have 3D to play games. The upper screen shown in this new 3DS XL is 4.8 inches and the bottom screen is 4.18 inches. These screens come in two types of technologies, TN and IPS. The IPS screen has better viewing angles and overall is a better screen than the TN. Nintendo used both screen technologies interchangeably, so there's no way to guarantee that you both have an IPS or TN screen. It's more of a lottery. On the other hand, the Nintendo Switch is rocking a 5.5 LCD display, 1280 by 720. So it's a 720 screen. It looks pretty good handheld because all those pixels are nicely packed into that small screen. So playing games actually feels very good, and it looks very good too. The 3DS is rocking an 800 by 240 screen resolution, which is not bad for 2011 standards, and even 2013 for when this came out. But by today's standards, it's pretty noticeable, the pixels. They look really bad sometimes, and it's more or less, if you're okay playing with that type of screen resolution. In my hands, it looks fine. I can play all games all day, but it's up to you mainly. Now, for the processing of 3DS, you have an 804 MHz ARM11 quad-core processor, which is not a bad core. You actually got to play a lot of 3D good games. In fact, a lot of that processing was used for the 3D, which is fine. But even then, if you weren't using the 3D, the 2D graphics looked amazing on this system. The Switch is rocking an NVIDIA custom Tegra processor, which has shown to be powerful enough to give us some of the most fun and memorable games of today, which I will discuss a little further in this video. The Switch has come a long way since the games it launched with back in 2016. One of them being Zelda Breath of the Wild, which now we know that is one of the best games that's ever been released by Nintendo. And honestly, back in 2016, I was pretty happy. I didn't need any more games. There are approximately 4,480 games, yes, you heard me right, 4,480 games released for the Switch up to date. With that many games, you have all types of categories, from first-party Nintendo, like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, to indie developers wanting to put in their stuff in their games, and even third-party developers putting in the effort to make sure that the games launch on the Switch as well. One of the most notable ones has to be Doom and Doom Eternal. Those have to be some of the most impressive ones that have come out for the Switch because they are playing natively. You don't have to be logged into a server, you are playing on the Switch. Yes, of course, they do look way worse than the PC, Xbox and PlayStation versions of them, but you can still play this on the go, no problem. Be sure, if you are into shooters, make sure you get yourself this game. The 3DS is about 1,599 games that came out for the systems themselves. However, the 3DS is backwards compatible with the DS library of games, which is about 1,840 games, which totals out to a whopping 3,439 games you would be able to play on this system. Before the eShop closure, if you were a retro game player, you could actually play retro game consoles on your 3DS. They were priced pretty well. You did not have to log into any servers to play these games. You can just take them on the go, play them no matter what. So if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you want to play your retro consoles, I say the 3DS is the best one for you. The Switch now has retro console games. It is tied to an online subscription base, which most don't like. I am personally indifferent to this because the more powerful specs allow for bigger games like N64 and GameCube games to be run natively and portably, with many more GameCube releases coming in pretty soon. To close, the 3DS is a more portable option since you can't just close it and put it in your pocket, or if you want, place it into a hard case for more protection on the go. The Switch Lite would need to be placed into a pouch or hard case like the one you're seeing in the screen from Skull & Co. in order for it to be portable and safe to carry around. Otherwise, you can put it in your pocket and it wouldn't be such a good idea, because you could bump into anything and kind of break it. Links in the bio for all accessories you've seen today in the description. Now for pricing. The Switch Lite you can buy new for around $200 or less if you don't mind buying secondhand. You can actually pay way less for a Switch Lite nowadays. On the other hand, the 3DS consoles have gone up since the closure of the eShop. The prices are roughly around $200 up. However, there is an outlier, the 2DS, which prices average around $80 plus or minus online and plays all the 3DS games and DS games that you would like. It has a better form factor and it's just a little more rugged. I did a video on the 2DS if you should be picking it up in 2023. I'll link the video right here so you can watch later. If you go with the 3DS, you have an amazing library of games, including mainline Pokemon games and older titles if you manage to pick them up before the eShop closure. You can play retro games on the go without having to log into any server whatsoever. You just pick up and go. The Switch Lite has an ever-growing library of games and the more powerful option of the two, which means you can play much more interactive games. The 3DS has the more pick up and put down style of games, which means you can play a little here and there and still have the same amount of fun you would on the Switch. The Switch has the more in-depth games that you will be playing for hours and not be able to put down unless your battery is running low. In the end, both consoles are great Nintendo handhelds, the 3DS being the 100% handheld only of the two. The Switch having the more powerful specs and is Nintendo's current console, with many more games coming its way, like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. As of the recording of this video, it has not come out yet, and I'm very excited to be able to play eventually. So, the choice is up to you. Which are you going to be playing today? The 3DS or the Switch? Alright guys, if you liked any of the accessories I had here today for the Switch and the 3DS, I'm going to have Amazon links below. So with that said, please like, subscribe if you liked the video, and have a good day or night. Alright, see ya.